What happens when you give 20-something-year-olds $3,500 in a few days to make a horror film? Find out in this week's episode of B-Movie Sunday. Hi everyone, I'm your host River. I want to start by saying that I appreciate everybody who's been subscribing to the podcast, whether it be through iTunes, Stitcher, or whatever program you use to download and listen to these shows. Really appreciate all you guys do. Don't forget to spread your word, share it on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace if you still have one of those. I also want to say a thank you again to Atomic Rocket Studios for hosting this podcast and these videos that I make along with it. Those guys do a great job, and they have some other shows, including one about Marvel's Agent Carter, which is the first one I started listening to from them. Go to atomicrocketstudios.com/shows, check out what they have, subscribe to a few more, and get a lot of really good entertainment for a really low price. For those of you who are new to podcasts, that price is free, and you really can't beat that. Now, on to the show. I just finished watching Thankskilling. Now, every season, every holiday has to have a horror movie. I believe this. The only ones that I haven't seen one for is Labor Day and Memorial Day, I believe. So if you know of one out there, please send me an email, shoot me something on Twitter or on Facebook, and let me know. I will gladly watch these films. But Thankskilling is the quintessential horror movie for a holiday. It's right there in the name, Thankskilling. So you can guess which holiday it's about. Thanksgiving, of course, the one that's coming up this week. I want to preface my review by saying I love bad movies. I really, really do. I love the ones that are intentionally bad, like the ones made by Asylum. I like the ones that just turn out being bad, and even those that turn into cult classics, such as, like Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is not a great film in and of itself, but it has a cult following. I'm a big fan of it. Will I ever review it for this podcast? Who knows? I'm trying to work some things out with some cult films. So that being said, Thankskilling, as I said in the intro, it was made for $3,500, so I probably shouldn't have expected too much, but I was expecting more than what I was given. Our main cast is made up of the jock, the cute little naive innocent girl, the more scandalous girl, this redneck guy, and a geeky guy. So you have all your stereotypes right there. It's Thanksgiving break, so they're all returning to their various homes. Now, what they don't know is that back in the 1600s, there was a evil cursed turkey that should have been killed and was not. You see this at like the very beginning, before even the first credits show. And this turkey, of course, is located in the area where they are going. Of course, it'd have to be, or it wouldn't make for much of a movie, so I'll give them a little slack there. So they're driving, and of course, what happens to the car? It breaks down. Now, as most intelligent people would do, they decide to camp out in the middle of the woods in the middle of nowhere. Makes perfect sense, right? I mean, how else are they going to run into a crazed, cursed, satanic turkey? So, of course, they do this, and the dialogue in this film, for those of you listening to the podcast, you can't see me literally shaking my head at this. The dialogue leaves a lot to be desired, and I know it's just people having fun making a movie. I respect that. I would love to go out and be able to do things like this. But they use the same jokes multiple times. They use some plot devices that would make sense if they didn't then explain that is exactly what they're doing. The special effects are, the turkey's a puppet. I'll go ahead and let you know that. It's a puppet that's ran by the guy who created this film. I don't think it's meant to look like anything more than a puppet, because if it was, they completely failed on that. But it's goofy, and it does have personality, though. Surprisingly, it has personality. I think that given maybe a couple extra $100, they could have done something with this. Now, in watching this film and seeing all this happen, seeing the special effects for the killing scenes, it's almost family friendly at the first few kills that the turkey makes, because they don't really show you much of anything. I'll go ahead and spoil a lot of this film for you. The when the jock's parents are killed, you don't see much. You just find out, oh, okay, Turkey's here, kills them. He has to move on, and he moves on actually very well. And the police aren't called, and the reason for this is because the innocent girl's dad is a policeman. The actor who plays him is named Chuck Lamb, who, if you were to go online and Google that name, you'll find out he is the dead guy. He's played in a number of films, television shows, things like that, as, you guessed it, the dead guy. He's very alive in this film. Him and his wife are getting a divorce, who you find out is the girl's stepmom. This is a part of the plot that didn't even need to be in there. The stepmom needed to be nowhere in this movie. It didn't add to the plot. It didn't take away from it. Didn't make you care anymore about the characters. They could have, in the little bit of editing that they did in this film, they could have edited her right out, and you never would have known it. But when the girl calls him for help, he, of course, mentions it to her that they're getting a divorce. And so the surviving, I'm just going to call them teens because that's what they're acting like, even though it is implied that they are over 21. When the teens go rushing to her dad's house for help, who do they meet but the turkey? Now, of course, they don't realize it's Turkey at first because he is very cleverly disguised as her now deceased father. The turkey has killed her dad. I'm not going to go into too much detail because even though the film is rated R, this podcast is rated G, PG at the very worst. But you can go on to Hulu and see this film and find out how the turkey disguises himself to look like the sheriff of this town, her dad. And it's very easy to see, I say sarcastically, how these kids can be fooled by this turkey. But when they do get in there, they go to her dad's garage. They start rummaging through some books because she knows that he has books on every subject. So, of course, there has to be a book about how to defeat a demonic turkey. And there is. There is a book just on that. Now, it doesn't have simple instructions in it. Of course it wouldn't. That would be, well, too simple. It has a mathematical problem in it. So the geek of the group, he has to figure out this formula, find out exactly what they have to do to get rid of this turkey. Now, once he does this, they do find out that it is simple. You simply kill the turkey and then put it on fire on a stake. Simple enough. Who couldn't do this? It's a turkey. It's, has some demonic powers to it, but in the end, it is just a big, feathery bird. So they track down the turkey. They find out that he's in a teepee. And that's their word for this thing, this bunch of sticks with a sheet thrown over it. I wouldn't call it a teepee. I would call it a bunch of sticks with a sheet thrown over it. But it has TARDIS technology, those of you who are familiar with Doctor Who, because it's this tiny little tent that you actually see them walking up to. And of course, you look at it and you go, okay, that could house a turkey, especially the size of the one that we've seen for most of this film. But when they walk in, because one goes from behind to actually capture the turkey and the other two go in front to distract it, there's room for everybody in there. So it is kind of amazing how this tent gets human size when earlier it could fit just a small succulent bird in it. So they end up tying up the turkey with some rope. I use it quotation marks for because the rope that they use is just a piece of twine that the jock happened to have in his Jeep that they've been driving around. So they tie him up and they're starting to, fight him and wrestle him and all that. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this hobo comes up and shoots the turkey. And now everybody goes, okay, he's killed the turkey. The only thing they have to do now is set him on fire on a stake. That solves the problem. Do they do that? No. The movie is only about 45 minutes done at this point. So what they do is they throw the turkey in the trash. Okay, the turkey's dead though, so they figure they can just go on and enjoy their Thanksgiving. Even though, again, no cops have been called for the dead bodies, the dead parents that are laying out there. Nobody's taking care of that at all. Nobody seems to care. And so they go off and, they want to relax, they want to calm down, they want to have some fun. So they go back to the girl's house and they go to watch a film there. And that's when we find out that the turkey didn't fall into a regular trash can. Oh no. The turkey fell into a radioactive waste trash can, because these are just laying everywhere out in the country. I mean, I have one, I'm sure you have one, I'm sure your neighbor has one. It's just something that's very common. Of course, this endows the turkey with radioactive powers, and he becomes a super glowing green turkey. And we start to see where the $3,500 actually went. It does look cheesy. I mean, it's a very low budget, cheap movie. But I have to say that for something that was this cheap to make, they did a good job at keeping the turkey green. I mean, if I have to give this movie any, props for what they did, once the turkey is radioactive, he stays radioactive. He has some minor radioactive powers, nothing too major. And they finally do corner the turkey. They finally do get him where they need him, and there just happens to be a fire burning out in the middle of a field. So they take the turkey and they throw him into the fire. And to prove that the turkey is actually dead now, I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about this scene again, and I'm not even sure I can say it with a straight face, because turkeys exist in the real world. Most of us have access to turkeys. We can go buy one at a grocery store, and you can buy it, you can cook it, you can buy it pre-cooked, and you can have a turkey leg. So if you want to film a movie about killing a turkey and part of the turkey falls out and it's the leg, when you pick it up, it should be a turkey leg. It should not be a fried chicken leg. I know that there's a suspension of disbelief whenever you go to watch any film, but sometimes it's the simplest things that just kind of irk me. Something simple that could have been fixed, could have been taken care of, and they just went down to a chicken place, probably that has 3 letters as its name, and bought fried chicken. I can't. I'll have to use. I hate to use this phrase, but I can't even. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and give you my rating on this movie. It's 2 out of 5 stars, and that is being generous. The only reason it does not get 1 star is because the only movie that I can give 1 star to is Birdemic, which I will review one day in the future. And that really set the new bar for what a bad, horrible film is. So don't rent it, don't buy it. If you do buy it, I am not held responsible for what you see. It's on Hulu, so if you have to watch it, if you feel the need to, you know, maybe get a couple chuckles out of this bad film, go on Hulu and see it. You have my blessing. But if I warn you that you'll probably turn it off within the first few minutes, or at least when they tell the John Benet Ramsey joke too many times. That's fair warning right there, just in case anybody is offended by jokes like that. I know it's a little dated. This film is from 2003, which seems a lot shorter ago than it should be. That means that the film is over a decade old, and for somebody like me saying over a decade old, it should mean the 90s, but it doesn't. It means that we're still in the 2000s when we say that. So again, 1.1 stars on Hulu. It's called Thankskilling. It's rated R for language and violence and radioactive demonic turkeys. What else would you be rated R for? That concludes our show. I hope everybody out there enjoys their Thanksgiving if they celebrate it. And if they don't celebrate it, enjoy your last Thursday of the month of November. I've got a few things planned for December, but I'm always willing to take suggestions. So if you have any, feel free to email them to me at bmoviesundaypodcast@gmail.com. You can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/bmoviesundaypodcast. More than welcome to write something on the wall, leave a comment there, leave a suggestion in the comments, I should say. You can also do so by going to atomicrocketstudios.com, finding the show there. That'll give you links to the YouTube page, the Facebook page, Their Facebook page also, facebook.com/Atomic Rocket Studios. Excellent group, excellent people to get involved with. And like I said, a lot of entertaining material on their site. You can give me suggestions that are on Hulu, Netflix, and Amazon Prime. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but thanks to my internet provider, another one you can suggest to me is anything on HBO Go. I don't know if they have a lot of B movies. HBO is known for their higher standards for the most part. Um, but I'm always looking for new movies. I've got tons that I want to watch and I want to review and suggest to you, but I'm sure some out there that I haven't heard of or I haven't seen. So thank you for listening, and if you're on YouTube, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube page while you're there. Just visit atomicrocketstudios.com to get a link to the page. Subscribe to us on iTunes, rank, review us, whatever they call it. Give us 5 stars. Suggest us to your friends. Share on Facebook, Twitter. You can tag me if you want. My personal Twitter is twitter.com/geekulele. That's GeekuLele. Of course, all this information is also in the show notes and on the description on the YouTube page. And thank you for watching and enjoy the movies.